Hello everyone, welcome to the 13th round of the Candidates 2018. It is definitely one of the most exciting events that we are currently having in the chess world, and because of the 12th round, everything is wide open. On the lead we have Karyakin and Khurana, both of them on 7 points. And the very interesting thing that we already have today is that Karyakin has drawn his game against Wesley So. So this means that it's all in the hands of Khurana now. If he can beat Aronian, he can really get out on top in this event. So let's try to have a look at the game between Aronian and Khurana and Aronian, and if you have anything to
Khurana,
say, please do
both
write
of them
in the
on
chat
7
box.
points.
And
The very interesting
nice
thing that we already have today is that
let's go over the game.
Karyakin has drawn his game
Khurana
against
is
Wesley So.
white, and he
So
plays
this means
E4,
that
E5,
it's all in the hands of Khurana now.
knight C6.
If he can beat Aronian, he
and,
can really
bishop to B5
get out
was played
on
by,
top in this
Aronian.
event.
By
So
Khurana.
let's try to
And,
have a
this
look at
tournament, we
the
have
game
been seeing
between
quite a few
Aronian
Rilo
and
Fest, games.
Khurana and Aronian. And if you have anything,
not all
Khurana,
Italians, so
please
B5
both of them
in
on
the chat
7
box.
points.
And,
And the very interesting thing that we already have today is that
let's go over the game.
Karyakin has drawn his game
Khurana
against
is
Wesley
playing the
So.
normal move, and
So
he plays
this means
E4,
that
C5.
it's all in the hands of
Allow the
Khurana now.
Knight C6.
If he can beat Aronian, he can
And,
really
bishop to B5.
get out
H3
on
by
top in this
Aronian.
event.
by
So
Khurana.
let's try to
And, in
have a
this
look at
tournament,
the
we
game
have
between
quite a
Aronian
Rilo Fest.
and
It's not games,
Khurana and Aronian. And if you have anything,
not all
Khurana,
Italians,
please
and
both of them on 7
Now
points.
that we have
And the
defined,
very nice
peaceful
thing that we
fight,
already have
we'll
today
keep
is
talking.
that
Let's go over the
Karyakin
game.
has drawn his game
Khurana
against
is
Wesley
playing the
So.
normal move.
And so this means that
C5.
it's all in the hands of Khurana now. If he can beat Aronian, he can really get out on top in this event. So let's try to have a look at the game between Aronian and Khurana and Aronian. And if you have anything, Khurana, please both of them on 7 points. And the very nice thing.
Yeah, maybe now it's much better. Yeah, can you just check? Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's have bishop d2 over here. Just let us know if the sound is okay, and it should be fine by now. So in this position, white is usually playing his pawn to c3, and the point is that you get to put your bishop back on c2. However, the new trend, and this is started by Grishchuk, who played this against Aronian in the 12th round, bishop d2, controlling the a5 square over here, and now bishop d2 was met with bishop g4. In the game between Aronian and Grishchuk, at that point Aronian played king h8, and the game went h3, knight d7, knight c3. It was a normal game which ended in a draw, but as we already know, Aronian always comes well prepared, so he went bishop g4. And what I like now very much is how Khurana plays this position. Okay, so first of all, he goes c3. At some point he wants to play d4 over here, and he is saying that I have bishop d2 is not most ideally placed, but nor is your bishop on g4. I mean, what is it doing exactly on g4? So he played c3, and now after d5, I like the next move, which is h3 first, bishop h5 and queen e2. So what white wants to do basically is hold his center here, and then at some point he would be thinking of playing g4, pushing on, and also, as we see in the game, white does absolutely nothing, but black helps him to improve his position. So after rook b8, bishop to g5, and then after DE, well, I don't know if this exchange was necessary, but already you can see that with this move bishop G5, he is creating a lot of pressure on the D5 pawn. So perhaps it could be reasoned that here H6 stopping the move bishop G5 could be interesting. I'm not so sure, but it could be possible. So rook B8, bishop to G5, and after DE, I already like white structure because this square is covered over here, and the D5 square is pretty weak in that sense. So here H6 was played, and now I like the next move bishop C1. So the bishop went ahead, it forced black to clarify the situation in the center, and then it came back again on the initial square. The point now is that white is going to do knight D2, knight F1, and then based on the situation he could go to G3 to F5, or from E3 to F5 or D5. And even though you made these 3 bishop moves over here, bishop D2 to G5 to C1, still it doesn't really matter because black cannot take advantage of the situation over here. So bishop G6 was played, attacking the E4 pawn. White defends it with knight D2, knight H5. Now you have threats related to knight F4 coming in. So Khurana went knight F1, stopping knight F4, and after bishop C5, I like this next move G3. If you look at this position optically at first, you will see that black has very nicely placed pieces. All his minor pieces are well developed, his king is well placed, rooks are kind of okay, queen can move out and then connect the rooks. So overall, you know, you can feel that black is doing well, but on closer introspection you will realize that it's not so simple, because even though white's position looks a little ugly, he is going to do something like say king G2, knight E3, and now he's threatening knight F5 or knight D5, and overall white's pieces are doing much more than blacks in the position. So that is why Aronian takes it very seriously and he plays king H7. His idea is that he wants to play F5. It is pretty important for him to break F5 in this position, and so white went king G2. The question is, what happens to F5? Is it possible to play this move already, or is it not so great? Because after EF5, I'm thinking of bishop F5, and here well, there are some points, like for example I could think of playing knight to H4 here, attacking the bishop and the knight. Seems like a very nice move. Also I have knight into, oops, sorry, not H4. Also I have knight into E5 here. It also seems like a decent possibility, but then I must remain careful of some tricks over here. In general, I think F5 was a possible move, but Aronian seemed very much, I think he saw something over here, and so he didn't go for this. And there are some questions here. I will come to it very soon, but first Syed Ibrahim says, why king play to H7? Well, king goes to H7 because you want to play F5 in the position, and the F7 pawn is pinned. Also F5, EF5, bishop F5, there is the move G4. Not 100% sure if this move is going to be very good, because you are opening up your own king, but if there is nothing concrete, then I would say nothing wrong with it. I was thinking, let's say if I go e4 here, is it an interesting possibility? It's actually not an easy position to calculate. Knight d4 was what I could play, but then bishop d4, and then you have knight d4 coming, so this might not be the best. And if you don't play that, and if you have to go something like say knight g1 or knight h2, yeah, you are a piece up, but well, I'm not certainly sure here, because I could also just move the bishop and play rook into f2, so it's not so clear if g4 is really a very good move here or not. Yeah, any suggestions here? I think I'm not very confident about this e into f5, bishop into f5, g4 move. I have a feeling that it could lead to some kind of good position for black, considering that he has all his pieces very nicely placed here. Also, yeah, knight f4 check doesn't make too much sense, because I just take, and this should be better for white for sure. But I am worried about e4 move. Yeah, perhaps if you take here, and this position is surely interesting, and I'm just assessing it incorrectly. It should be maybe better for white over here, but it's not so easy to understand what's going on when you have these weak pawns and king, but those pawns are not dying, and you can always play bishop c2 defending this. Yeah, I don't want to go for g4 as said by chess lectures. Yeah, g4 definitely looks ugly, but if you can make it work, then why not? Gaurish Baliga says hi. Hi Gaurish, welcome to the show. In the game, I think Aronian didn't go for f5, he played queen e7, and this gave white much needed time to put his bishop on c2 and stop f5. So once f5 is stopped, I mean, you can still play f5, but now I think it just doesn't make sense, because first of all I could just take and play queen e4, when I think this is pretty bad over here. It doesn't look so great. So f5 now, and king h7 is in a way, if I wonder if it was a good move, because you could even think of king h8 then, but perhaps Levon was worried about knight h4 in this position. So it's not for sure what king h7 was for. And after king g2, yeah, there's a very important point by Gen X who says that after f5, ef5, bishop f5, g4 might not be a move that Caruana would want to play, especially considering that he has a chance to take the lead. But well, it's such a situation, you either make your move and you win this game, or you are in a bad position. I think g4 works. I'm not sure if black has something really dangerous here, but I think it works, because even here, yeah, you can't take, of course, on f5. So here, even this position I like white, because king looks a little exposed, but I can always play knight g3, bishop can come back to c2. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, let's go ahead, and after queen e7, bishop c2, rook f d8 was played, and now b4. Well, I was thinking if knight e3 was already possible, but maybe Caruana wants to first improve his position with b4, push the bishop back somewhere, let's say here, and then even think about playing a4 move, keeping knight e3 in his hand. yeah, I think this is interesting, and also maybe more moves have been played in the game. Let's just have a look. After b4, yes, bishop b6 and a4 was played by Caruana. So I have a feeling that Levon is in some trouble. I'm not sure how big, because here he has some pressure over here on the queen side, and the knight is also jumping in to these squares. It looks like very interesting for Caruana. By the way, XTM official says, I'm a student in chess. What shall I do to improve my chess knowledge? Well, for starters, you can definitely watch these games. It's really interesting. But there are so many nice books out there and so many DVDs that there's so much to learn in chess. I think based on your level, you can definitely find some good books, some good DVDs to learn. Also, YouTube these days is a really powerful means of information. So I'm sure getting source is not a difficulty these days in chess. Gen X says, isn't the c3 pawn weak? Well, it is a backward pawn. It is a little weak, but how do you attack it? That is the question. I mean, it's really not so simple. While I would definitely say that b5 pawn will become a weakness at some point. Like if I get to play AB, AB and bishop d3, I am looking at really attacking this b5 pawn. Yeah, Dhruvil Purani, hi, how are you? It's been a long time. He says, yes, we met I think nearly 3 months ago, doing a live show after a long time, especially because I'm on the road and it's very difficult to find good internet connection. Finally I have, so it's just good to meet you all. Sushan Acharya says, your thoughts and suggestions on King's Indian defense with black pieces. Well, I would say King's Indian defense is a very nice opening. I have tried preparing it and playing it, but just doesn't suit my style. So if you are an aggressive player and you like to attack, you should go for it. I have a very nice story. Actually, it's related to my friend Swapnil Dhopade, who started playing King's Indian. I mean, Swapnil is a very solid positional player, and in one of the games, I'll just put this position up here. He was playing with white, and well, something like this happened in his game. Well, I'm not sure the exact moves, but so something like castles, knight c6, d5, knight e7, and then Swapnil began his attack. I'm not for sure putting the exact moves, but just to give you an idea of what happened, he started with his play here, and then he got really excellent play on the queen side, like knight b5 came in, and then rook c1. He was able to even win the c7, some c7, a8 rook over there, but he got mated on the king side, you know, with all these pawns and pieces, and that's when he decided that he has to play. Of course, here knight c7 is just a bad move, but I'm just giving you an example, and that's when he decided I must play the King's Indian with black, and he started playing it, and he got some fantastic results. He checkmated many opponents. I remember his game against Abhijit Kunte, beautiful game. So well, you never know what would work for you, so I think it's very interesting to play this opening. Okay, now there are so many other questions here. Ankesh is here. Ankesh Vasista. Ankesh, we also met 4 months ago, so very nice to see all friends joining in here. Okay, so right now I don't see much any progress in the game between Aronian and this is the position, Caruana Aronian. I think we should come back to this game in some time. It's going to be very exciting for sure, because especially and I have really realized one thing: when the pawns are in this fashion over here and white has a pawn on c3, it's really very nice for white, and it comes from many different openings. For example, if you play the King's Indian attack like this, okay, just to give you an example, well, just I'm not 100% sure if all the moves are correct, but this is just to give you an idea. And here, if let's assume you take and play e5, I think after c3, I really like this structure for white, mainly because you are controlling this d4 square, and at all times after say something like queen e2, rook e1, knight f1, you can put your knight on e3 to d5, f5. All these ideas exist, and you really like your pawn on c3. And this is similar case over here between the game, where the pawn on c3 controls the d4 square. So yeah, it looks very interesting. And well, we have Tarun over here, Tarun Kanyamarla. Hi Tarun, this is very nice to see you. Of course, Tarun is a very good and strong player from Ireland, although I call him also Indian because he is Indian, although he plays for the Irish flag. So welcome Tarun. He's rated nearly 2000. Also his sister Trisha is 2000 rated, so both of you are welcome to the show. How can the knight on f6 and bishop on b6 be improved in Khurana Aronian? You mean the knight on c6 and bishop on b6? Yeah, that's a good question actually. How can they be improved? Yeah, I really feel that this knight over here is dominated by this pawn on c3. So if I want to improve it, I have to find some way to get it to better squares. At the same time, I have to keep a watch on the b5 pawn. So I'm thinking about some ideas with rook d6 here, so that I can transfer my rook to f6. Also then I free the square from d8 to e6 for my knight. I think Aronian has to attack. Yeah, this seems like his only way to play in this position. Positionally, he seems to be already in trouble in many ways. So okay, let's look at a few other games. I think there are many more interesting games that are going on right now. One is of course Karyakin versus So, which ended in a draw. I don't think we need to check that game, but maybe the most interesting one was surely Kramnik versus Ding Liren. I just want to have a look at that game, what's going on, because I think that is one of the interesting games. So let's just have a look at Ding Liren, who is white, against Kramnik. I'm actually rooting in some ways also for Ding Liren, Chinese guy, closest to being an Indian, Asian, only Asian in this event. So it's going to be interesting to see if Ding Liren can score a full point. By the way, no, this is not how it went. Sorry, yeah, c4, e6, knight c3, c5, knight f3, knight f6, g3 was played, and here b6, and I like this interesting move e4 by Ding Liren. He is looking out for some kind of a Marozzi structure with e4 and c4, and after bishop b7, d3 was played, d6, bishop g2, g6, castles, bishop g7, rook e1, and the idea of rook e1 is of course to play d4 and then just put your knight in the center, get this nice Maroczy kind of a position. Castles d4. It's interesting to ask if white has lost a tempo as compared to normal Maroczy, and he definitely has over here, and that is why I feel black should really have no issues in this position. So okay, some of the people are saying that it's lagging a lot, so let me just check if everything. By the way, I'm not in the best of the internet zones, just trying to, I'm in a hotel over here, and just hoping that the internet would be good, but let's hope that it's better now, I hope. So a6, yeah, now I mean the point is knight b5 is definitely a threat, so a6 was played. And well, I have one person who's asking me, Tesu International, can you tell me any recent tournaments in Uttar Pradesh? Not so sure. Yeah, I mean you have to go to chessbase.in and the calendar over there and check it out if there are any tournaments happening there. I'm not sure if there is something happening. By the way, there is an interesting move here. If I don't know if it's possible, but e5, does this work, by the way? Because okay, if I take bishop takes g2, then after ef6, I have queen f6, and here I recover my piece. So actually that's e5 doesn't work for now. So b3 was played, and now knight d7, and here bishop a3, d6 is hanging, but usually in such positions knight c5 is good. If you were to ask me, I really like black's position here. It is flexible and there are no real concrete threats that white can generate. So I think Ding Liren's approach now is very interesting because he goes b4 and he understands that it's not going to be easy to just play normally, so he tries to be more direct. b4, and after knight c d7, b5 was played. Gen X says d5 should be played to liberate the black pieces. Definitely the main idea of Maroczy is to play d5, but here I mean you have to be careful because Ding Liren has taken a completely different approach with this move b4 b5. So it's now he's actually burnt his bridges in a way. He is looking at the c6 weakness in this position to plonk a knight here, but at the same time he's weakened his c5 square. So very interesting about what's happening. Yeah, black is pretty solid, I agree to that. Knight e8. My question is, what if knight c5? Is this so bad? Because still if you go e5, I have bishop takes g2, ef6, queen f6, and nothing really has changed as such, so this still looks fine to me. I'm wondering why Kramnik didn't play knight to c5. Is there some particular reason? Was he afraid of something? Maybe knight c6, or well, this looks pretty okay for black. I don't know because you can just play say queen c7 here. It doesn't seem bad. I don't know why Kramnik didn't go knight c5 in this position. Yeah, knight c5. If e5 doesn't seem to really give anything, so perhaps there was something that we are missing. I was thinking if you could take, and now let's say bishop a6 might not be the best. Yeah, e5 could be possible, but also I am thinking of knight db5 here with the d6 pawn coming under some attack. Yeah, d6 is is weak. I can't say very weak, but okay. So knight e8. Now we are looking opened up this diagonal. Also e5 threats are permanently gone. Rook c1, knight e5, and well, you are attacking the c4 pawn. Next you are bringing your rook to c8. Well, Ding Liren, what's cooking? Yeah, I mean, what's your plan? Are you going to do something against the c4 pawn, or this is just going to be Kramnik's win over here positionally? Because c4 pawn, how do you defend it? I mean, I'm going rook c8 next. You maybe knight a4 is an idea that you have to think about. Yeah, rook c8 seems okay. Well, f4 is not possible here, I think, because f4 means knight into c4, so it doesn't seem to work. And so yeah, okay, you can defend, but it's very concrete. I mean, c4 is hanging. If you defend it, I attack it again. So where's the time to defend and play f4? I mean, if you're going to play queen here, you already, this knight is a little loose. I'm not feeling so great about this position for white. So yeah, let's have a look at, yeah, bishop f1 is also possible for sure, as you say, rook c8, bishop f1, and then you want to later on play f5. It's true, but if you just look at this position, I feel that this knight here, this bishop here, somehow things are not very good for looking great for white, but maybe I'm wrong over here. Well, f5 could be one move later you could think of course. Here e6 is hanging, but once this bishop leaves that diagonal, this are some possibilities to look out for. So yeah, right now I think the position is on knight e5, that has stopped. I don't know if Ding has made his move yet. No, he hasn't yet. After knight e5, he is thinking. He's down to really very little time on his clock, 22 minutes left if I am to believe Play Chess clocks. Yeah, so it's interesting position. Maybe we'll have to come back to it again, and let's have a look at Grishchuk's game, because he too has a chance to become a candidate along with Mamedyarov. So they both are playing each other today, Grishchuk and Mamedyarov, and the position that we have with us is this one. Last move was bishop c3. You know, when you look at a position, I think what you should do immediately is just try to, you know, feel your way and see who's better, because if you keep doing that and then if you try to check your assessment with an engine whether you are right or wrong, you will get a good feel of how your intuition is in chess. And I think in this position, here I feel that black should not have too many issues. He has a rook beautifully placed. By the way, black is Grishchuk, if I'm not wrong. Just a second. Yeah, white is Mamedyarov. So black has a nice rook here. His minor pieces are doing fine. This pawn is not really weak, so black shouldn't be worse for sure here. Also bishop e4, okay, it's not working because of bishop f6 here. So knight e4 is one possibility. And there are some tricks though. For example, I take and play g4. This is possible. So I can't move the knight or the bishop. Bishop c3 was the last move. So Omkar Chakradev says here h5 in this position. Yeah, well, it's possible. Yeah, you can start off some kind of it's not an attack really, but to soften up white's king side with the move h4 could be interesting. Also, I'm thinking of what exactly is the problem if I just go to fd8, improving my position, because after something like e4 I really feel like you are weakening this square here on d3, while knight d4, this is possible, attacking the bishop on f5 and also the pawn on c6, but then here I think bishop e4 should be okay. f3, I don't know, e5 maybe. Well, sometimes you have to think of such moves, because now if the knight moves, I'm happy to go back, and if you take here, I can take here with a good position. So looks interesting. Omkar says, I think black has better practical chances. Yeah, I also feel so, but I don't think if white doesn't do something, and Mamedyarov is a very practical player. I think when he will feel that he's not in a good position, he might just cut his losses and just play very solidly. So perhaps I think it would be a right time for him to start looking out for some equal variations where he can go and equalize the game. But yeah, definitely Grishchuk looks very okay here. In case Grishchuk wins, he will just go into the lead, assuming that Khurana cannot beat Aronian. So yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know who you guys are hoping that would become a candidate in this tournament. I had lot of hopes from Aronian. I had also a lot of hopes from Wesley So. Both of them did, I think, not so well in this tournament. Raghuraj Pratap Singh says g5 here. No, come on, this is just losing. But okay, you want to do these tricks, yeah. Okay, so no g5, but in general, what's the idea? I think g5 is doesn't make sense. E5 says Pintu Kumar. Yeah, it's possible. You're stopping knight d4, and yeah, in general you will put your bishop back to e6. So e5 definitely looks like a possibility for sure. Knight b4 is something you might have to consider. c6 is attacked. Yeah, not so easy, by the way, in this position. I definitely like move like bishop e4, because I want you to play this and then go back. That's my plan. Omkar says, I hope Karyakin doesn't win. Well, he is right now having the best chance. He drew his game, so unless Khurana does something here, if he loses today, I think that would be the end. But it doesn't seem like he will lose, because Aronian is still thinking. You know, we discussed this position with the move a4, and Aronian is not yet made his move. So this position is still on the board, and Aronian is still thinking. So a lot of thought going back. Mithun Raj says, I have met you in 10th Chennai Open. Glad I met you. Yeah, Mithun, I remember you. Very nice to see you online. Great that you have come here. Well, my request to all of you here is that if you are watching this, do subscribe to ChessBase India channel, because we're going to go live regularly, and this is going to be quite usual, and I hope that we can get in more people to analyze more nice games. So do subscribe to us. Shushank, by the way, there are some suggestions for the Grishchuk Mamedyarov game, so let's go back. One of them is queen c8, and bishop h3. Well, it looks like a big plan, but you can just drop back to h1. So, and also if you look at this position somewhere around here, I think that black had the opportunity to play queen to c8 here, but he went for queen c7. So I don't think he will now go for queen c8 in this position. Sushan says rook b6, rook f b8. Well, Sushan, you have to be a little bit careful about bishop a5 ideas, because might not be the best thing that could happen to you. Atitya says, can you come your evaluation with an engine during Steam? I don't understand, but if you're asking me if I'm using an engine or not, I am not using an engine, so I'm not so sure what's happening here. I'm just trying to calculate with my mind. I don't know what's happening. And Angom Nongsha, who works for ChessBase, says, don't you think Karyakin has the best nerves among all? Definitely, I think Karyakin has excellent nerves. I mean, the way he has made a comeback in this tournament is so commendable. He was completely down and out at 2 points out of 6. I mean, who would have thought? And after 12 rounds, he's on 7 points. So it means that he scored 5 points out of the last 6 rounds. This is something fantastic. He has excellent nerves. I remember in candidates last round, he needed just a draw in 2016, but he, in that tense position, he found this move e5 against Khurana and won that game. So it was a beautiful game. That's why I think Karyakin has the best nerves for sure. And yeah, Bala STS says this is the game between Mamediaro and Grishchuk. So we are looking at that game right now. The last move was bishop c3, and my question is, what should black play? And we had a few suggestions. One was to double the rooks. It doesn't seem to work. Other one, I think e5 is possible. Maybe not the best, but I like this move, rook f d8, just developing your rook. And as we saw, that knight d4 is met with bishop e4 and f3 with e5. This is something that I liked. I don't know if I'm correct in my analysis or not. Like something like knight e6, fe6, fe4. You have to assess this position, what's happening. Perhaps white is just better here. Maybe I am missing something, but yeah, looks interesting nonetheless. Okay. So any other game? I think there is the game Ding Kramnik, Ding Liren is taking a lot of time, while in Khurana Aronian is taking a lot of time, while Mamediaro Grishchuk looks like equalish. So Karyakin has ended in a draw already, so nothing much to see there. Yeah, I think yeah, let's try to see if we have some questions there. Devesh Naik says, I met you at 3rd IIFL. Do you remember me? Devesh, I'm sure that I would remember you through your face. But next time if you meet me, just tell me your name. I would remember you with your name as well. Sayyed Ibrahim says, both rooks are trapped in critical position. I don't know which game exactly are you talking about, but maybe if this, perhaps yes. Aditya Iyer says, can you share your best game that you like the most? Well, I was thinking of starting a small series on my games, not because I'm a great player or anything, but I just wanted to share just how I think in chess and if there is something that you could gain out of it. So I'm planning to start this series, and maybe the name something like Sagar Saga would be good. If you have some suggestions, let me know. So that's the plan. If that works out, I'm sure I'll show my favorite games. There are quite a few which I would get to. NG4 says Devesh. Yep, interesting move for sure. Knight G4 here. I think I will take. King takes, and maybe I'll just, I don't know if I should push your knight away. Is one possibility, or should I play the move Knight E3 when you have to perhaps take and Queen takes. This position should be equal. I mean, not much happening over here. Maybe it's, yeah. He played the move over here, H4.
Knight E8 and H4.
Knight E8 was played by black. Really? 17th move. Let me just check if we have it correct. Knight E8 has been played. If you guys have any idea of what's going on, just let me know. Yeah, a lot of moves have been made, by the way. So let's quickly have a look at Mamedyarov Grishchuk first. I think actually he took first bishop c2, queen c2. Interesting. Knight e8. So there's a golden rule that if you have the opponent has the bishop pair, you should exchange one of the bishops. So here knight e8 makes sense. You want to exchange the bishop. H4, a typical Mamedyarov move, just playing, gaining space. Don't know what's happening. I'm just going to get more space, and at some point maybe that h pawn will go to h6 and create some huge issues. C5, rook f d1, bishop c3, queen c3, knight f6. This is interesting. I think that this position black is doing completely fine, because here this knight is not worse than this bishop in this position, because the bishop doesn't have too many things to do. These pawns are nicely fixed in a way that the light squared bishop is doing nothing much. So I had once reached this similar kind of a position in my game against a player who was around 2200, and I remember that I got absolutely nothing out of that game. Maybe I could just very quickly, if I can find that game, I could show you, because I think it was an important thing that I learned in that game, that this bishop over here on f3 against the knight is really not a big edge for white. So for example, I'll just show you that game. Yep, I think it started off with c4, yeah, somewhere around here. This was my game, and we reached this position. And I thought I was much better here, and I'm sure I am with white, but somehow my opponent, I played first of all quite bad. I was waiting. I should have done much more. I wanted to checkmate his king with my rook and queen, but it was not possible. And then he got his knight to f6, and that's when I realized that I'm doing absolutely nothing in this position. And here, although I think the structure is slightly in my favor, if you look at the game between Grishchuk and Mamedyarov, I don't even see that this structure is in white's favor. So should be around even over here. By the way, Gen X says, I would love to contribute more to spread chess in India. If you have sent your article to us. I think we are already working on it, and we would be publishing it soon. So I think thanks for your contribution in that sense. And if anyone wants to contribute, then just go ahead and send it to us at chessbaseindia@gmail.com. Your any interesting game, anything, we will be publishing it on chessbase.in. Yeah, so let's go to one more game, which is, I think, a lot of progress. First of all, very interesting from the tournament point of view. I think we should be looking at Khurana versus Aronian, because that one can decide the tournament today. So here we saw that a4 was played, and now knight f6 went back. This is what Aronian did. He is trying to be solid, and here knight h4 attacking the bishop. Yes, for sure, it looks interesting. You want to take the bishop, or you can go knight f5 also. Looks great. Apex Clash says, are you coming to Kathmandu? Unfortunately, I'm not able to, because at point I'm in Bangalore at the Bangalore State Tournament, covering it. It's the biggest state tournament ever. Nearly 1200 players would be playing there. So I won't be covering that. I won't be coming to Nepal, unfortunately. I really want to come there at some point. So do keep me updated if there are any more tournaments there. And Mithun Raj says, are you a e4 or a d4 player? Well, I am not an e4 player, but not also a d4. I like to play c4, knight f3 these days, but definitely more flexible than before. So I might play e4 as well. So it's nothing. Sayyed Ibrahim says, what's your website? Well, it's chessbase.in. www.chessbase.in. Just go there and have a look. Do you give lessons online? Not really. This is the best that I can do online. It's too much work already. I am not giving personal lessons. So queen e6 was played, and bd3 was played. b5 is under attack, and now Aronian played bishop h5. So firstly, what if I go g4? Is black going to sack here? Well, looks interesting for sure. I mean, bishop g4. I am not very confident about this position, because h3 bishop f3 bishop h3 already looks really not so great. I mean, this seems risky. But if I go f3 here, it's also possible. I don't know if black has anything concrete up his sleeve. Can he do something like queen b3? But well, I always have rook a3, just pushing your queen back. So what exactly is, I mean, white's position looks clumsy for sure, but look, he is going to put his knight here, he's coming up with his knight here, while black is looking active, but what is he going to do? That is the question. Okay, Anonymous says, do you think Magnus will lose his crown? Depends on whom he will play. I think if he gets Karyakin, he would be very happy. If he gets Khurana, maybe some new guy, we can't say much. Yeah, I don't think he would be losing his crown, but it will be always interesting. Also, the match is in London this year. It's much more interesting than being in Russia or somewhere. You know, it's always much better to have it in a big city somewhere, and London is definitely very nice. So I'll be there mostly. and you could also think about making some plans. Uh, Abilio Di Paula says best channel is ChessBase India. Well, thank you so much. I think that we put in a lot of effort to bring good quality content. Usually you have websites where there are banter blitz, or you have live commentary, but at ChessBase India we try to do more of interviews, or with top players, with young players, with parents and everyone, so you get a full knowledge about the chess world. It's if someone wants to make a career in chess, I think he should know about what's going on everywhere. So I think in that sense we might be one of the leaders in the chess YouTube channels, because there's no one else who does similar kind of a thing. Gen X, surely will meet in Bangalore, and if I like your article, I will surely let you know. You can contribute more. Thanks for contributing. So bishop h5 has been played. I don't know if the move has been made after bishop h5, but let's go to this game with Ding Liren and Kramnik. We were at some point saying that it's going pretty slow, but the game has just progressed by leaps and bounds, and we have reached a stage where it's just simply impossible to understand what's going on, and I'm going to try to attempt doing something which I have always found very difficult, that is to assess a position. So for example, you just open this position in front of you. How do you assess it? Now, first of all, let's count the material. I think 3 pawns, 6 here, so 6 pawns for white, 4 for black. White has 2 rooks, so it's basically a rook and 2 pawns against 2 minor pieces. Usually it should be an interesting even material balance, but here if you look at it, it depends a lot on if the minor pieces are coordinating well, and if I have to make an initial assessment, I would say white is better, because look, his rooks are excellent, his queen is beautifully placed, knight is jumping into d5, and this pawn is not really in danger. So if I had to give an assessment immediately, if someone said okay, give it in 5 seconds, I would say white is better. But then if you ask me to think more, well, whose move it is, okay, black to play here. Can black play knight f6? Can he get some pressure on the position? Is there some tricks happening here? Then you have to start looking much more positionally. And one thing which I really like to do is always give the move to the opponent. So if it is black's move here, I give the move to white and try to think what would white do, and then I realize that if it is white's move, he could do something like e7 over here, and there are so many things that white can do. For example, knight d5, knight b5. In general, white's position looks good to me. Swag Anna says, can I contribute to the website by writing articles? Yes, sure. Just send us your article on chessbaseindia@gmail.com. If you have anything interesting to contribute, please do so. It's a website by the chess players for the chess players, and you should contribute. I mean, we have made it for that purpose, that everyone can contribute there. Rajarshi Kumar Singh says, what book will you recommend for beginners chess players? I would say there is one very interesting book which is called Chess Tactics from Scratch. I like it very much. It's by Martin Wetestchnik. It's quality chess. Recently we have quality chess books on ChessBase India website, original hard copy books of quality chess for just 999 rupees, and you get it free shipping within 2 days or 3 days at your place. So just go there, and I think it's a great book. For example, he explains all the different pins and double attack and everything related to it. Yeah, Adi Aswal says, please also have the name of the player on the board whose chessboard is on the screen. Yes, for sure, we'll do that. It's important for the viewers who join in to see whose game is going on. But right now, it's Ding Liren versus Kramnik. Trying to feel my way through this position, if whether Kramnik has made his move or not yet. Yes, he did play knight f6 here. Tricky knights in the position. Always have to be careful about something happening here. Knight d3 forks here. So, well, assuming that it's let's just assume I just go back here to queen e2. Not so sure. Yeah, I'm not so sure here. I have a feeling that if white can get knight d5, he will be better. And sorry, not sacrificing your queen that way. I don't see how black would be playing in this position. I mean, what moves? It's too complicated actually. G4 maybe. Just trying to randomly think of some moves. Rook e8 perhaps. I don't want to move my rook away from the f file. Also, you should always keep in mind some move like f4, although it looks very weakening, like knight g6 and knight h5 could come in and it might create a lot of problems. So yeah, this position might be interesting. We'll come back to it later. I think we should go back to Khurana versus Aronian, where Khurana did play g4. Wow, that's interesting. Khurana is brave, he is not afraid, and he has played the move g4 here in this position. This was the position. So now let's see. I think if you go back, then first of all I could just plonk my knight in. Secondly, I can take your bishop, fg, and then take a pawn. It doesn't seem bad for white, just winning a pawn. So taking all of this into consideration, I have a feeling that you must take here. And if you take hg, bishop g4, I think he will play this. Swag Anna says, will you be at the IIT Madras Open? No, I won't be there, although I was in IIT Madras a few days ago. Beautiful campus, beautiful place. I really envy the people who study there, not just because they are in IIT and it's one of the best institutes, but because when you go out, you have deer walking around, you have these monkeys. It's like you're so close to nature. The air is so pure, there are no cars, you're cycling around. So in general, very nice place to just enjoy, I mean, studying. Janice Prakash says, how do you practice to become an international master? A very good question. The answer is you don't practice to become an international master. You practice to become a good chess player, and then you become an international master if you are a good chess player. So don't practice to become something, don't practice to get very good rating, don't practice that way. Practice because you want to improve at the game. That's the only reason why you do it, and results will come. As we've seen countless of examples, you know, recently I just wrote an article about Rakshita Ravi, 12-year-old girl who gains 384 points in 3 months. Well, she's just very strong. I mean, she didn't practice thinking when will she reach 2200. She just kept working hard. Her parents helped her. Father is an IM, mother WIM. Yeah, I know it's difficult to get such a combination. and she became right now 2265 at the age of almost 13. She's 12 years 11 months. So yeah, I mean, she never thought about rating, and maybe you should not as well. Devesh Naik says, will you cover the tournament in Goa from 13 to 21st? For sure, we'll be there. I think cannot miss that event. Also, Olympiad would be over by then, 6th of October, so we should be there. Queen C2 says Syed Ibrahim, I'm not very happy taking my queen away from the king side, but well, you are a piece up, you are threatening to put the knight here on g3. So my question is, what happens to bishop h3 first? Yeah, this looks really scary to me. First of all, if I play king h2, I'm already thinking about some sacrifices with rook d3 and bishop f2 first, or first bishop f2 then queen f2 rook d3, or even straight queen g4 attacking the knight on h4. Well, what are you going to do? I mean, it's not ideal. So queen c2 is definitely not something I want to play. f3, yes, this looks much more normal. I don't think Aronian has still sacrificed the his piece yet. Just trying to see. I don't think he has done it, but yeah, f3 and then bishop h3, king h2. I think Aronian has got things at least somehow moving in his way, because he was not in the best positional way, in the positional sense, in a good position. So now he just sacrificed a piece, and well, he's hoping for the best. But here I think your position is much more solid. I mean, if you take here, I don't see how black will further his attack in the position. If queen f6, I have knight g2. Yeah, this bishop is scary, but I'm always going bishop e3 and neutralizing it. So yeah, what else here? f3. Do you think Aronian will just play bishop h5 and say, okay, fine, leave it at that? Or maybe he will do something like queen f6 here, and then if you take, I'm thinking he can take here, take, check, king h3, queen e1. Yeah, this looks another variation worth considering. I'm not sure if it's too good, because queen f6 is attacking this knight here, and if I play knight f5, yeah, it's possible to play this way, I'm sure. Only thing is, I'm not sure who's better. It's not so easy to calculate. Pratik says that Telangana State Association is not refunding my money worth 2,500 entry fee. What should I do? They said they will and signed a letter, and now they are not refunding. Well, the best way is to write to AICF about it. You have the contact on aicf.in, and I think they will solve the issue for you. Yep, so one more question. Swag Anna says, are you going to get your last GM norm? Yes, for sure. I just don't know when, but I am working towards it. I think I'm always thinking about chess problems, positions. My work is revolving around chess. So whenever I sit down to play a game of chess, it's not like I was doing something else and suddenly now I have to again start from zero. I know the latest trends and I know a lot of things. So it could happen soon. I hope it will, but for now, I mean, the main concentration is working for ChessBase India. So yeah, so let's try to look at it here. After bishop g4, f3, bishop h3, king h2. I have Amruta by my side, who is suggesting a sacrifice. Yeah, there is a very nice move. She says rook d3, queen d3. And what's the idea of this move? Is my question. Can anyone think about what's happening here? I mean, why do you sacrifice? Why would you sacrifice an exchange here?
It's beautiful.
So yeah, let's try to think. Even I'm not sure. Rook d8. Do you want to get your rook in? But then queen e2 goes back, and I don't see how you're going to further your attack. But there are some points like g1 square. So you know, if you can get your queen there, this is one possibility. Queen f6 could be one idea in the position. So I'm trying to think what are the possibilities. Bishop f2 attacking the rook and the knight on h4. So bishop f2 is possible. Yes, as Raghuraj Pratap Singh says, Swag Anna says the sack doesn't work. Well, if Swag Anna says so, it must be true. So now you're attacking the rook and the knight, but you are already a rook down. So let me say, if I were to just develop my bishop e3, then you would take on h4, I presume. And rook is attacked, so I could play just rook e2 here. And the point is that very good compensation for black with rook d8. That's what is happening here. So yeah, I mean, look at this position is really very interesting. F3, bishop h3, king has to go to h2 or h1, doesn't make much. I think h2 is the better square. And now just take on d3.
Who is king g3.
And this move is also possible, but you know, we don't really think that king can go up. Yeah, possible to do this, because mainly the king is covering the f2 square, and
if you go king h1, then it's lost immediately.
Yeah, okay, I think king h1 doesn't work, because for sure there are so many things like bishop f1 first of all, and if queen f1, you can just take on d3 with queen h3 coming in. So king h1 is not working, and king h2, as we saw right now, has some issues with rook d3 and bishop f2. So therefore king g3 is the possible move, but I'm already so scared as white. Yeah, but you know, you should not be afraid of such things. Only then you can be a strong player. Yeah, as Swag Anna says, knight g3, but in which position? I don't know. I'm still waiting for if Khurana. Yeah, Khurana has. I mean, Aronian has not yet sacrificed on g4, so he's still thinking about his move. And well, there's one interesting game of Mamediaro and Grishchuk. A lot of progress has been made in that game, so we would definitely want to look at what's going on there. We have this position now. Wow, so much has happened over the past few moves. C pawn is a passer. Black has a queenside majority. One thing which gives me faith in white's position is the fact that he can block with bishop c6, and but the question is, who is better here? Well, if I can defend e7 pawn, coordinate my queen, knight and the pawn, I have a feeling black has good chances here. although last move was c4, seems even. I don't know, bishop c6 looks natural, stopping c3. Now I want to play queen a5, but then queen into e7 is hanging, so maybe I cannot do that immediately. Devesh Naik says white's king is too weak, black has many active pieces, he also has weak squares around his king, black has too much compensation. Yes, I think so. You're talking about the Aronian Khurana game, Khurana Aronian game. I think that one is definitely one to look forward to. But what do you think about this position, guys? I have a feeling that this one is not so simple position to assess. It could go either way actually. So what are your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, if I can go bishop c6, then queen c5, and then start rolling ahead, I think white would start getting slightly better here in this position. But
You can play queen a5 if you calculate accurately.
yeah, for example, bishop c6, queen a5, queen into e7, queen e1 check, king g2, c3, and then suddenly turns out that your pawn is moving ahead. Yeah, Amit Pandey says c3 directly. I think you're right. The c pawn is not so easy guy. I mean, yeah, I think your idea is also correct to push straight away c3, then queen d6, and now c2, because how do you stop this pawn, and also queen e1 check with this is coming up.
There is a defense.
So yeah, there has to be some defense here, but it already looks very scary. Here exactly I don't see a defense for white. Check, king f7, and then queen f4. Wow, okay, king g2, queen f4, queen e1 check, king g2, I make a queen, and then you take, and then you have a perpetual. So always tricky things. The light is gone here. I hope that it doesn't lead to disconnection. I'm sure it will come back very soon. Mamediaro Grishuk looks very drawish, but I think Mamediaro might over push and lose. That's what ABSK says. Yeah, I'm not sure what will happen in that game. By the way, how does this look? Yeah, dark, in the dark, and maybe you can't even see me. It's an interesting way to analyze. Completely dark. So I hope that the electricity comes and then you are able to see here. Well, Bangalore is known for its power current loss. Okay. Well, it seems like the lights are coming back. So you're still in that position. By the way, in the game between Aronian and Khurana and Aronian, there is something here that Aronian didn't take with the bishop here. I mean, he took first with the bishop, he didn't take with the knight, and now he went knight g4. So he's gone for a completely different approach, not taking with the bishop but with the knight on g4, and he's attacking this pawn here. Someone had asked me how to activate this bishop here. Well, the bishop is beautiful suddenly, so no need to activate it. I'm thinking of what to do now. Knight e3 is possible. Oh, this is the first time the current has gone for such a long time. Well, maybe it knows that I'm doing some live show. Gen X says, which game is this? This is Khurana Aronian. Syed Ibrahim says, I can see you. Well, thank you. Even in the dark, you can see me. Tejendra Chedal, welcome from Nepal. That's great. ABSK says it looks spooky but cool. Well, yeah, lights are back. I hope they don't go away soon. White can play knight f5 over here. Do you mean here? But then what are you going to do to this f2 pawn? I mean, it's hanging. I don't think that that's possible yet. Aronian is completely lost. Well, just imagine this, okay? Khurana is going to qualify for the World Championship match, has great chances to qualify if he wins this game. He is facing such a violent attack against his king. Do you think that he would be so confident that, oh, I'm winning or something like that? Even if he is, I mean, okay, knight e3 definitely looks like the best move here.
He's played in the game knight f5.
In the game he did play knight f5. So my question is, what happens to knight f2?
That happened.
And the bishop on d3 is hanging. So I think bishop c2 seems like the only move. I don't want to give up this bishop for sure.
Nigel Short is watching on pages.
Bishop c2. Yeah, this knight is a big thorn. I mean, it's beautiful. So what if I try to push it away with g6? But then I must consider the move bishop e3 because then I'm attacking your knight. And then if you take here, I will take with my knight. And I think your knight on f2 is kind of trapped. So
But for bishop e3, what's
yeah, for bishop e3, maybe are you considering something like knight e4 here? It's possible because if bishop e4 I can take here. It's just so many possibilities in this position. It's so rich, this one. And because bishop into c6 would be ideal, but it comes with a check. So that's why. Angom says, what is wrong with bishop e3? Here, Angom, or where are you saying? You mean to say here maybe you wanted to play bishop e3. I think there's nothing wrong with this move as such, but I just don't want to give up this bishop, and you know, I have a feeling that this bishop becomes too strong if you give up your bishop, but yeah, it's possible to play it this way. Well, in the game as knight f5 was played, so knight f2, bishop c2 I guess was played already, and then we had g6. Well, we are analyzing, not bad, yeah, g6. So Sundar Adhikari says, is this the first time ChessBase is streaming live, or I just missed previous rounds? It's the first time that we are streaming live from the candidates, but we did stream live in previous events, in World Youth Olympiad, in Delhi Open, and it was pretty good. But well, I'm traveling all the time, and today is the first time when I have good internet connection, you know, a good spot to sit down and analyze, otherwise on the move everywhere. So that's why we are streaming live. We will be streaming live tomorrow as well, so do join us, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel, then please do so. I would really like if you keep following us. You know, we're just trying to work very passionately with a lot of good videos and information about chess, and well, your subscription always motivates us to do better. So why not take on h6 if black plays g6? Yeah, okay, you take on h6 is possible, but I just feel that that pawn is just, I mean, okay, the light went off again suddenly. If you take on h6, it's just game over. Check here and mate. Yep, that's nice. So I hope Horodomi, you got the answer to your move that you can't take here. So that means the knight cannot move in a way, or maybe it can move here, but already I think here there will be some devastating discovered attack, and it will be all over. I think knight d3 is one move for sure. That looks very, but there could be many more. Knight e4. So yep, Ding Liren versus Kramnik is very exciting, says ABSK. Well, we'll go there for sure, but first g6, what are your possible moves? I think bishop e3 for sure, right?
Bishop e3, you checked out knight into e4. Which
Yeah.
complicated.
Knight into e4, it leads to complex position. But then, what are the other moves? I mean, you can't move the knight.
You can knight 5 knight e3.
Knight e3. Ooh, okay. So you want to take here, huh? This is interesting. Knight e3 blocks it. Oh, yeah, this looks interesting move. Yeah. What do you do now? I mean, this light coming back and going, I hope it's not disturbing you guys. Maybe it's giving a nice effect as well. But here, I mean, Aronian is really walking on thin ice. If he cannot find something here, he will be dead lost. Yeah, exactly. Gen X says light is fluctuating like the position. Yeah, it's very exciting, and the light goes away. Amit says knight 5 e3, and Raghuraj says I am with Amit. So yeah, everyone of you feels that knight 5 e3 is a good move. Yeah, it seems good. So let's take a break from this game right now and go to Kramnik versus Ding Liren, which is so interesting. I mean, Kramnik has a knack for creating something out of nothing. It's a complete mess over there as well. Let's see the position. I think this is the one on the board after f into g4. What's happening? First of all, just very quickly, I want to analyze this position. Knight e4, queen e4, takes and rook e7. What's happened? I think black cannot be worse here, but nor can white be worse in this position. I think should be around even this one. So Kramnik, as we all know, is not here to make draws. He's definitely going to play for an advantage. If you have been following his press conferences, Sundar Adhikari says, I'm already an old subscriber, keep streaming such big events and all your contents are pure gold. Thank you so much, Sundar. I hope you watched the one with Aruna today. It's a nice video. We have put a rapid fire question with her, interesting one. Horodomi says if Fabi doesn't suicide, he will win for sure. Yeah, I hope he's not nervous right now because it's really very dangerous, his position. ABSK says I think Kramnik is by far the best wild card. Yes, I agree. He has played some very exciting games. Although I'm a bit upset that he couldn't make more points, but he's played really fine games in this tournament. So by the way, after f into g4, the question is, what if I just take here on e7? Black seems to be doing fine. I mean, he would want to keep the queens, and then white has to move his king away. Let's say king h3. What is happening in this position? It's a wild mess for sure here. can I increase the pressure on the e4 knight with knight to g6, or perhaps first knight f7? I like this move. Maybe knight g5 could come in, because if you take here, I take here, and I'm defending the rook. Yeah, so rook e7. I don't know what happened in the game. Did Kramnik take on e7? I think he's still thinking for his move. Did he take on e7?
No,
He's thinking for his move. Rook e7, I think, will be played if I'm not blundering something very big.
G5.
Yeah, g5, and then I think you must take on e4, because if you play something like knight g4, okay, it's also possible for sure, this position playable. But I'm just trying to look at what happens if you simplify. I think this one should be fine for white. So it's a messy position, but I have a feeling that it will end in a draw if you exchange. But I think Vlad will keep the knights with knight fg4, and here well, you never know what's going on in this position. Bishop h6, you mean in this position, instead of taking on e7, you want to play bishop h6, attacking the rook on c1. That's nice, something different, nice suggestion. What if I just move my rook from c1 to d1? Yeah, perhaps you don't have something really concrete going on here. I think here even knight fg4, you must consider this move. So Kramnik has a lot of possibilities here in this position, so I'm not really sure what he will go for. By the way, coming back to Khurana's game, very exciting, knight 1 e3. So Khurana went for knight 1 e3. Now my question is, you have no engines, yeah, when you're playing at the board. Knight 1 e3, what do you think is happening? Because you don't know what's going on, and Khurana might be really right now. For example, if I take gf, 2-3 things can be done. First of all, you must consider rook g8 checks in the position. So I don't know if knight f5, this doesn't seem good, because then the knight on f2 is safe, so I don't want to play that. E into f5 is one possibility for sure, because you are attacking the queen. But well, what could happen there? I'm maybe queen f6, and then I take on f2. Seems good for white actually, this position after queen f2. So Mithun Raj says, in which program are you analyzing ChessBase 14? Yeah, ChessBase 14, of course. It's the best program. You can get it from ChessBase India. It costs around 3,500 rupees. So definitely ChessBase 14 is the place to analyze. Yeah, knight 1 e3.
Yeah, and right now gf5,
gf5, ef5,
queen f6,
queen f6,
queen f2, and here computer suggests a very nice move.
Okay, Amruta says that here computer is suggesting some move, so she's looking at the engine. Well, rook g8 looks natural for sure, but yeah, maybe something like knight d4 or something.
Yeah, something like knight d4 or knight into b4, where you get rook d4.
Because okay, this is something I'm sure that even Aronian cannot find, a brilliant player like him, because then you want to play rook d4, and then you want to get the other rook to g8, and then you want to get this rook to f4 or h4. Wow, it's so beautiful. I mean, chess I think that we are unable to see even half of the things that are happening in such complex positions. That's why chess is so beautiful. Gen X says king into f2 here. King into f2 is also possible for sure. But now that I know this idea of what has been suggested, I'm just looking at knight d4 ideas, because rook d4, and suddenly you will see that this bishop here and this rook coming here is all looking really so dangerous. So if I'm sure Aronian has looked at this, and my question is, do we need to take e into f5? Can we not take on f2? Yeah, as Gen X rightly points out, king f2, maybe f4 just recovers the piece, and then black should be fine. Even queen f2 also f4 recovers the piece. So that is why I think you have to take e f5 here, and that's what Khurana has played, and I think black has to play queen f6 here, blocking the pawn. And yeah, if you give me more time, what am I going to do? This idea really is fascinating. Knight b4 or knight d4, getting the rook to the 4th rank. This is something.
Even for the computer, it takes time.
Yeah, it's not at all easy. Amit Pandey says ef5 rook g8 first. Amit, you mean to say here rook g8? Okay. And if I take king f2, what's your plan? Do you want to play queen d5? It's an interesting move. The knight is pinned, and you are threatening queen g2, beautiful mate. But then maybe queen f3. Well, it seems like there could be some really deadly ideas here, but can't spot them out so easily. So doesn't seem to work as yet. And if you play queen f6 here, in general I would say that white wants to consolidate in some way with something like, let's say, bishop e4 if he can, and then put his queen on f3, and then he would be fine. But here of course queen h4 is coming in, so you need to play something like queen f3 perhaps. Queen h4, I don't know, king e2. I'm really scared about this attack. How many of you think that white is better here? I mean, leave the computer analysis. I think that white looks to be in some trouble for sure. I mean, it's so difficult to play as white here. Okay, there are a few moves made in Aronian versus Ding Liren versus Kramnik, but I don't want to leave this game just as yet, because it's really reached this is the position we have on the board. He has taken e into f5, and black is thinking, Aronian is thinking rook g8, queen f6. Amit Pandey says queen f6 now. Yeah, don't know which position exactly, but by the way, Sundar Adhikari says, what do you think about the performance of Aronian in this tournament? I think it has been really bad. Aronian is one player, if you look at him, he should be playing at the World Championship at least once in his life, for all the achievements he has done. But how can he play if he cannot win the candidates? And this is the problem. I mean, he has been unable to perform at the candidates, and it seems impossible for him to do so. I guess at some point he must take some kind of an advice from Anand, who became a candidate in 2014 when he was 45 years old. So Aronian has a lot of time still to reach 45. So he definitely will has more attempts, but this one over here he was not able to play. I think 1 or 2 games were very good, but apart from that he has not been doing so well. Um, Deepak Dadwani says why they play only open games e4 e5 in World Championship and candidates. Well, Deepak, the point is e4 e5 is very good for black. Black gets good positions and black players want to be solid. They don't want to lose so soon. They don't want to take risks in the Sicilian or the Caro-Kann French. All these openings are counter-attacking but at the same time give more opportunities for white, whereas e4 e5 is solid and you will only understand its value or its strength if you play against really strong opponents, and this is what these people do, and they have come to the conclusion that e4 e5 is the best. It's the most solid in a way, and yeah, I think it's true. So no one wants to go for Caro-Kann and then suddenly find themselves in a plus equal position where only one side is pressing throughout, so that's why. Aditya Srivastav says very much unexpected from Aronian. He played very badly. I thought he would win. Very disappointing. Yeah, Aditya, I can understand you. I can feel you, because there are a lot of people who had great hopes from Levon, and I think he himself had great hopes from himself. If you have been watching the press conferences, you would be seeing the sadness and dejection on his face. Well, what to do? I mean, that's life. Aronian has very limited time left, so Aronian might get into trouble. I don't know what time he has left. Maybe 5 minutes around, if my watch is correct on Play Chess. Yeah, 5 minutes for the next. How many moves are over? I think 10 moves for 5. Yeah, it looks difficult. Okay, Deep Mind suggests d4 is the best opening. So you're talking about Alpha 0, yeah? Maybe, yeah. I mean, d4. When I was young, I read a book by Hans Berliner. I don't know if you have read. He's a correspondence world champion, and he has this book called The System, where he says specific openings are the best. If you play them, you will win with white. If you do this, you will win with white. It was a very funny book. I read it. I tried out. His opening suggestions were interesting, but far from one-sided. But he was very confident. If you play the Zamish against the Benoni f3 setup, you will win for sure. So, well, you can't have any one particular move as the best or something. But yeah, there are trends right now. e4 e5 is definitely trending. Aronian told his style is romantic and losses are possible. Yeah, his style is romantic, but well, to win candidates you need to be solid. Yeah, I mean, you cannot always play. Like, for example, if you look at the way Anand won the candidates in 2014, or the way Karyakin won in 2016, they were very solid. It was not possible to beat them so easily, and they would really put a lot of pressure with white, be very solid with black. You need all of this to win the candidates. You can't always play interesting chess. Sometimes results are important. Yeah. Okay, so Somasi Spal says, is NF3 opening is good for intermediate players as well? Yes, surely. I mean, if you play knight f3, e4, d4, c4, anything which controls the center should be good. Just play chess and enjoy it. Keep analyzing the games. You will keep getting better at it. I'm waiting for Khurana Aronian to make his move. He did play queen f6 here, and next queen into f2 was played. So, guys, do you think, oops, sorry, queen f2, where is it? Yes, here. Do you think that here Aronian is going to find either knight d4, I don't know, or knight into b4? Because after take, rook d4, this is fascinating. I mean, I don't know, something suggested to me by Amruta. She said that this looks really dangerous. Yeah.
By computer.
Yeah, of course, computer suggests this, and it's very funny. This Grishchuk, when he goes to the press conference, says anything suggested by Anastasia Karlovich is correct, because yeah, she's always looked at the engines, and engines have excellent suggestions to make. So, but I don't know if players can find this move.
I think Aronian will find this move.
He may
Well,
find
that is
it
the
because he
only
has
try.
nothing to lose, says Gen X. Yeah, I mean, he has nothing to lose, but it's not an easy move to see. But at the same time, what else do you do? Because if you don't play knight into b4, and if you play rook g8 here, then I can play king f1, and then if you do think about rook g4 again, trying to get to f4, I think already knight into g4 is coming, so it's not possible. Yeah, so he has to find this knight into b4 idea. Okay, so let's go to Kramnik's game. I don't know if Kramnik's game has again become very, very complicated. Something Kramnik loves these days.
Aronian.
Okay, 1 minute. Aronian has made his move, so let's not go away from here. So right now he's played e4. Okay, that's like a human move. Yeah, I told you, human moves are much more common. By the way, knight e5 is now an idea. Then you can jump your knight to d3. Also, knight g4 could come up at some point. So yeah, e4. So what if I take? I think you must consider the most obvious move first. Doesn't look the best, because you are opening up the e file like this over here for pieces, and then I could very well play rook e8 here. But then I maybe take on c6, queen c6, queen f3. It's possible. It's not so simple. Yeah. Raghuraj Pratap Singh says, can you suggest me the most aggressive opening? I don't know which is the most aggressive opening. King's Gambit maybe the most aggressive. Aditya Srivastava says, which player do you think can beat Carlsen amongst Caruana, Karyakin or Grishchuk? Well, I definitely think Caruana has good chances, because his track record against Carlsen has been pretty good, and Carlsen, I am sure, has much more respect for Caruana than any of the other guys. Especially Grishchuk is always a good player, but he comes under time pressure, and I don't think you can take a player who comes under such immense time pressure very seriously for the world championship title. I mean, it's just a big. I have seen him coming down to 1 minute when opponent has 1 hour. So yeah. Okay. Naman Khandelwal says most aggressive is fried liver attack. Yeah, possible. It's possible. Just saying, without engine, how any player below 2000 or 2200 can comment on Super GM games? Very good question. I think this is something which I have always struggled with. For example, when I'm looking at a game of a GM, he plays a move e4. I just don't know what's happening. And my thinking is, I'm not better than Aronian. I'm not better than Caruana. How can I comment on these games? But the point is, you're not looking for the best moves or of the computer. What you're really looking at is how much can you understand from the position, what's your level of thinking. And that's why I always think you must consider the most natural moves like bishop into e4. If you don't see a refutation quickly, then you must try to dig deeper. I think it's very important that you don't try to look at the truth in the position, but rather try to just analyze these games as per your level, and see if you can find something interesting. This is what I feel should be your approach, because if you are looking like, okay, I want to find a blunder in this e4, is it a blunder, it's too much of stress on yourself and you won't be able to do a good job. And this is exactly what you shouldn't be doing. Just analyze these games, understand what's going on. Like here, I mean, I don't know what's going on, who's better. c3 pawn is hanging, rook g8 might come in, knight e5, knight d3 might come in. Who's better? White is a piece up. But well, I just try to think on my own, and I'm trying to give you food for thought. Of course, if there is someone like, say, Swidler, who's commentating, or well, there are some more strong GMs, they might be able to give you much more clearer answers. But even I've seen Swidler analyzing, he's also not sure of many things in many positions. So Suresh Kumar says, is Spanish opening the best or not? Well, it was considered to be very popular at some point, then people got kind of tired of it, and then you see the Italian these days, very, very highly played. So yeah, I mean, not so sure which one is the best. By the way, after e4, still Khurana is thinking. It just goes to show, very difficult. Just look at them at the press conference. They would have no idea about what's the objective evaluation of the position. They're playing on their feel. Okay. What about Danish Gambit? Yeah, there are a lot of people who are discussing the most aggressive opening. I think it's an interesting topic to discuss.
Any opening if you play h4 and h5 at the right time.
Yeah, Amruta says any opening you play h4, h5 at the right time is aggressive. Although there is one opening which I really like, it's Halloween Gambit. Try it out. e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, knight into e5, Petrov, d6, knight into f7.
Oh.
And this is an aggressive opening for sure. And try it out. I think there's a very famous game, Topalov Kramnik, played by White, and it's a good one.
Then I have played that.
Prudvi says, Sagar, you look so stressed. Maybe my eyes are paining because of the light, but I'm not stressed at all. I'm very happy doing this live commentary. Yeah, it's very nice to see so many people following this game. I'm very happy. So first e4 here. What is going to be White's move? He plays rook to h1. And now it's Aronian's move again. Knight e5, I think
Again he
looks
played rook d6.
looks good.
Knight b4.
And yeah, knight b4. What's wrong with this move? Now it's even further clear, because if you take, I can take on a1. So perhaps Aronian was now afraid that he would get under attack with queen h4. Yeah, because h6 is hanging, queen g7 check perhaps, king f1. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but looks quite complicated. Okay, knight into b4 was possible, but in the game he played rook to d6. I think both the players are just playing just normal moves, trying not to blunder anything big time. Okay, my first question is, what exactly is happening if queen h4? Someone asked, Aditya asked, please tell us the tips for improving identification of candidate moves. I think, Aditya, if you look at this position, just try to think of moves which are good. For example, knight g4, one possible move here, not a good move because of rook g8, but definitely a candidate move. Second is queen h4, I think it's a good move. Third is, well, you want to, I don't know, king f1, just coming out from that side. So you see, in a position you try to look at the natural moves and then but the right way to start always is to look at checks and captures. So I would look at rook into h6 here if it's working, but I don't see anything happening after queen h6. So candidate moves are always, you start with forcing moves, then you move on to some moves which are natural, then you analyze them a bit, and then you understand this doesn't work, okay, let me try first king f1, and then you find these prophylactic nice moves. It's not always like you hit upon those moves at first, but it's just this process that you have to follow.
He played bishop e4.
According to engine, after queen into f2 it was equal, but now +3 for Fabi. Okay, thanks ABSK, that's a good thing. What did he play?
Bishop into e4.
Bishop takes e4. He's taken this pawn. This looks interesting. I guess rook e8 should be thought about, because you're putting pressure on e4, also on e3. But then maybe bishop into c6, rook into c6, and then knight d5 is possible. No, maybe not. Queen g7. I don't know. Look again, it looks so complicated, because after king f1 you take on f2. Okay, there's no bishop here. So okay, yeah, this won't work. And if queen g7, queen g3, rook e2 check. I'm quite scared about this position, but maybe it's fine. I don't know.
Played rook g8.
He played rook to g8. He didn't go for rook e8. Rook to g8 first,
King f1.
and now
King
king f1.
Now
So we
one
have
minute is left.
34 moves done. Aronian is having how many?
45 seconds.
45 seconds left. My god, this is going to be really tough for him. King f1, he's piece down. Fabi is slowly and steadily coming out of this mess. You have to be aware of that. There are some tricks on the h pawn. Knight g4 could come in at any point, you know, knight d5 is coming in, all these things, discovered attack here. So I think it's going to be interesting if Aronian is able to survive this. Otherwise, another loss for him. Knight e5 is what Aronian played. So knight g4 is a threat perhaps in this position. Also knight c4 could be a possibility. You have to calculate accurately here if you want to find what's going on. What if I play a5? I was always considering this move, because the point is, if you move the bishop back, then it is undefended, and then I could think of moves like knight d5 here, and after queen into d5 I can take on a7, something like this I was thinking about. So a5, I hope I'm not blundering something really huge, but because a5 looks really interesting for me. Shasha has blundered terribly, says ABSK. That means Mamediaro would win. Yeah, if that's true.
Yeah.
Well, we should come back to that position after this game, because this one is really the one where
He played a4.
Khurana, did he
No,
play a5? No, he hasn't played. Knight is on e5. Knight c4 is a big threat, I think. Khurana, and well, Krishna Kumar says, Sagar, you are doing a great job, like it. Thank you so much. Prudvi says, who do you think will win the candidates? Well, now it's no longer a guess. Everything is just dependent on one move. If Fabi wins this, he goes to sole lead. He's followed by Karyakin and Mamediarov. It's going to be interesting. I don't know what will happen. Maybe we have to check the pairing of the last round after this and come to some conclusion. Yes. Grishchuk has lost already. He's losing his game. Okay. So knight e5. Let's see what is Fabiano going to do. He might be under so much pressure here. I think Fabi doesn't handle stress so well.
Queen F4
Yeah.
he played.
Queen to f4. Okay, it's come out of the pin. He has now, okay, maybe this is interesting. You can now think about some times sacks on h6. But what can black do? Can black, okay, even black's moves are not so easy to find. Well, usually you give the move to your opponent and try to think. So for example, what if it was white to move here? What would he play? I think he has some dangerous ideas like knight d5 in the air. So something has to be done against them.
C6 he played.
He played c6, stopping this. So you see, it's a good technique to give the move to your opponent, think what is his threat, and then you can stop it. So knight d5 is at least stopped for the moment. What can be done? Well, I really feel that this position is exciting if you don't know the evaluation. If you know the evaluation, it's like, okay, I know this is winning for white easily. What do you play as white here is my question. Rook g1. No, I don't like this move at all. You just take, and then rook d1 might be possible. So it's good. Atri Chatterjee says, when are you doing the next ChessBase tournament? Very soon, Atri. We are going to do it. We have some very interesting plans that we will be letting you know soon. But first, Caruana's move. 3 minutes left. Exciting. Meanwhile, I think Kramnik versus Ding Liren is also quite interesting. We need to go there at some point. Queen h4 is your suggestion here. Okay, that's a nice move. I like it. I like when you put a threat to your opponent. When you're ahead in material, you want to exchange things off. Nice. I can't exchange, right? I mean, I can't exchange the queens because, and really I have nothing as black to do compensation. So yeah, so many moves. Rook h4 is suggested by Syed Ibrahim. Rook h6 by Raghuraj Pratap Singh. Rook h6 takes and queen e5. Yeah, is that your suggestion? Possible, but I'm quite scared. Yeah, of queen h3 move or something like that. Queen h3, but you should calculate concretely. Is something happening here after king e2? No, I don't think so. No, not even check. Okay, queen h5 check is there. So not so sure what's happening here. Did Grischuk lose?
Queen h6, then you can play forcing variations. Right?
Rook h6, queen h6, f6 check. Yeah, interesting move. And now you can't move your king, so you need to block with your either rook or knight. If you block with your knight, then maybe you are risking after queen h6, king h6 and knight f5, that's winning. And if you play rook g6 here, I think the same thing, queen h6 still, take and knight f5. Okay, that's interesting. Should be winning. So Sasha resigned, says ABSK. Did Sasha resign? I think so. Yes, Sasha resigned his game. And Caruana is down to 30 seconds. Is that true? My god, that seems really scary now after c6. But as he's calculating rook into h6 for sure. If he can find rook into h6, yeah, if he finds rook h6, it's game over, because Well, it's actually straightforward line, you see, after f6. But the problem is this: players are under so much stress. They're taking ab5. I mean,
Still, it will be the same thing, no? After AB.
yeah, sure, but I mean, you don't need to play that move ab5. ab5 was played. I think Aronian will quickly recapture it.
No.
He played rook g5. So Aronian is spinning his wand here. Okay, what if I just ignore and I take another pawn, ba6 or rook a6? There are two possibilities. Maybe rook a6. So look at this position. I mean, bishop is on still. You know, this bishop has moved 3 times in the game. It's still on c1. And look at this rook here, this rook here. King is some. I mean, it's a wild position.
He played BA6.
ba6 was played by Fabiano.
Queen D8.
He's going to push his pawn now. Queen d8. Last few tricks by Levon, but this I don't think is going to work. King e2 might be possible here.
F6 check.
f6 was played by Fabi. Well, you can't play king h8 because of rook h6, and you can't play, well, king g8 maybe. But now still rook h6, rook d1. Okay, let's just see. Rook h6, rook d1, king e2. What's happening? I don't see any checks here.
He played king, knight g6.
So f6 was played. He played knight g6. I think Aronian knows he's lost this game already. What if I take the rook now? Is it possible to just take the rook, or is it a blunder? Because rook d1. Yeah, am I in the right position?
Yeah, you are.
So can I take just queen into g5, rook d1, and now if, for example, I take knight d1, queen d1,
Yeah.
king g2.
That you can't.
Maybe queen e2 is.
He played rook h6 though. Now that's the last good move. I think it will be over.
So rook h6 here. He took, king takes, and now maybe knight f5 check, and then queen into, or knight g4.
Queen h2.
Queen h2. Wow, this is a beautiful finish by
He
Fabi.
didn't play it.
Because now if rook h5, I can take queen into d6 at least, or maybe I should start off with knight f5 check, keep it simple, and finish the game off with king h7, queen into h5. So it's a beautiful game by Khurana. I think
Yeah, rook h6 resigned.
he resigned the game. Excellent play. I think I would give a big hand to Khurana. He played really well. It was a very complicated game. Again, I think the best we can tell is
But actually, even
great job by Aronian. He complicated the game. But that's what we have been telling about Aronian and Kramnik all the time in this tournament. They have been on the wrong side of all the complicated games. Yeah, such is the nature of the tournament. But no time to waste. Mamedjarov has beaten Grishchuk. So let's go to the only game that's going on right now. Ding Liren versus Kramnik. We missed some action because this game was going on, but right now I think this is the position on the board with rook h5 check. Whoa, rook h5, king g6 maybe played. What's going on? Yeah, I need to first count the material. 2 pieces. Black has 2 rooks. Who's pushing here? I think white for sure. Yeah, white is the one who's pushing here for a win. So if Ding Liren wins, he joins Mamedjarov and Karyakin on the top. Fabi, I would say hats off to his fighting spirit. After losing yesterday, he's come back strongly today. It's great, amazing play by him. By the way, I don't know what's Ding Liren. Yeah, Rook H4 was played here, and now I'm thinking to give knight G5 check. King moves. If it moves back, rook into A2. King moves up. I think still rook into A2, then rook check. Okay, maybe check on A4 first. Oops, it's a very embarrassing kind of a mate. You need to give back. So yeah, king G2 has to go back, rook into A2, and I think black is doing well. Yeah, Naman says Khurana won. Yes, Khurana has won. Aditya Srivastav asked, what is the thing that gives Carlsen the edge always over others? I don't know, he's just able to squeeze in the positions really well. When people lose the thread of the position and make some small errors in plus position, Carlsen does not, because he's able to find those small problems for the opponents very well. And this has to do a lot with fitness, a lot with his stamina, that he can always keep putting pressure on his opponents. So Atri asks, do you want Ding Liren to win? Well, of course. I mean, if Ding wins, there's nothing like it, but I don't see him winning anyhow in this position. It seems like a draw to me. Well, very quickly, maybe we can have a look at Mamedyarov Grishchuk to see how did that game, which looked so even, suddenly turn its head and finish in the favor of Grishchuk. I mean, in Mamedyarov's favor. So I think we had reached till C4, and then bishop C6, queen A5. Yeah, we calculated this. Queen into E7. Did the game go this way? No, it didn't go this way. He didn't play bishop C6, he played king G2, C3, bishop C6 now, queen A5, queen C5, A6 was played, E4, AB, king H7, E5 attacking the knight, knight into B5. I think this was the critical blunder of the game. Maybe Grishchuk was hoping that here bishop into B5 would be played, and then he can play C2 and then offer a draw, because the pawn is queening. If you take the pawn, then queen into B5 is just even. But then suddenly I think Mamedyarov shocked him with E6. Great move, opening up the diagonal towards the king. And this is what happens when you are constantly in time pressure, you miss things. So queen A3, queen into B5, C2, EF7. Well, the point is, if you make a queen, I also make a queen, so king G7, bishop E4. Well, you can count on Mamedyarov to find tricks. So if you play queens over here, and what's happening if you make a queen E5 check, perhaps? Is this finishing the game? King F7 looks okay to me, but well, Mamedyarov had seen queen E8 and a beautiful final position, because now queen G8 followed by F8 cannot be stopped. So even if you play E5, E6 or something, queen G8 wins. Wow, what a win. And two queens can do nothing against this F7 pawn. No checks, nothing, because the bishop protects the king so well. So very nice win by Mamedyarov. By the way, let me just quickly check tomorrow's pairing so that we have a good idea of what we are looking at. Who is Khurana playing tomorrow would be very interesting to check, and who is Mamedyarov playing, who is Karyakin playing. I think people are saying Khurana won this tournament. Not so soon, yeah, not so soon. I think there is, yeah. So tomorrow Grishchuk plays Caruana. With Caruana is black, so there's a good chance for Grishchuk for Caruana there. Secondly, Aronian is playing Wesley So that game is inconsequential. Karyakin plays Ding Liren, very interesting. Karyakin is white against Ding Liren, and Kramnik plays Shakhriyar Mamedyarov. So Kramnik is going to go all out. He doesn't care about the final standing, so that's interesting. If we imagine that Ding Liren and Kramnik draw right now, then I think the only three contenders for the title would be Mamedyarov, Caruana first, Mamedyarov, and Karyakin. So all three are going to play different games, no one against each other. So that would be interesting. Grishchuk, Caruana, Karyakin, Ding Liren, and Kramnik Mamedyarov. Yeah. Navneet Singh says, what do you think of Caruana fighting in championship with Carlsen? Tell us something about Caruana. Well, I think overall Caruana has very good understanding of chess. He plays nice openings, he's good preparation. Kazimjanov is helping him well. He's not intimidated by Carlsen in any way. So in that sense, I think it will be a very fun match to follow. Much more interesting than say Karyakin again playing against Carlsen. So I think it will be very much fun. If you were to ask me what is the strength of Caruana, well, I don't know. I just think that he plays logical chess and he prepares his openings well. He's just a very strong player overall. There's no specific thing like Mamedyarov. If you say he's a free-flowing player, he likes to play free-flowing chess. Everyone has some style. I think Caruana has a pretty universal style of play. If Caruana draws the next game, then he wins the tournament. No, I don't think so, because it's all about maximum number of wins, and he has 4 wins. Also, Karyakin has 4 wins. So if Karyakin wins, then he would win, because in head-to-head score, Karyakin is ahead of Caruana. Again, the lights went off. So, well, who knows. Prudvi says, who do you want to win the candidates? Well, right now, I would prefer if Caruana wins it, because that would mean someone new, someone really, I think he's a very worthy challenger. Last year also, he missed out on his chance. So, yeah. Tell us what is the weakness of Fabi. Well, I think you saw it there. Yeah, I mean, this game against Aronian today, so many ways in which he could have improved his play under stress. He has nerves issue, so I think that's one of the weaknesses of Fabi. He doesn't have the best of nerves. That's what I feel. What game is this with 2 queens? This is the game between Grishchuk, who's black, against Mamedyarov. I think we should shift to the only live game right now, which is Kramnik versus Ding Liren. Ding Liren versus Kramnik. Yeah, we have it here. And then King G6, Rook H4. I don't know how the game proceeded. Just checking. Yeah, Knight G5 was played. King G2, Rook into A2, and King F1. I think this position will end in a draw. That's my forecast. Not the most important games, but so I'll take a break here for the night. It has been wonderful following you guys. Atri asks, are you at home? I guess you know that I have left home. I have no home, so I'm traveling together with my wife Amruta for 365 days promoting chess. So we are going from one place to another. There's no home. Basically, we gave up our place and put everything in a warehouse. So it's like kind of a dream kind of a thing. You are going from one tournament to the next. It's tiring for sure, but it's also fun. Amruta is there besides me right now. She would not want to come to the camera. She's saying hi to all of you. And yeah, so guys, make sure that you join tomorrow for the final round. It's going to be exciting. At 7:30 p.m. we'll be back, and please subscribe to ChessBase India channel. I think it would be wonderful. We have one question. Arun Jha says, I would like to thank you, sir, for the pioneer work in chess. I salute you. Can someone above 25 become GM? Well, I personally think someone about 25 can become a GM if you remove everything else out of the scenario. Like if you tell me I'm 25, I have no financial issues, I have nothing else to do, just I can practice chess all the time, I would say go ahead, you can do it. But usually people at 25, they either have something to do, they have to earn, they have to look after their maybe parents, girlfriend, wife, whatever, and so it's not always as easy as a 12-year-old boy or a 13-year-old boy. Your mind is not as calm, or you have other things to worry about, and that's why I feel it's difficult. Otherwise it's really not an issue. I mean, I think at 25 you have all the, if you can discipline yourself to practice each and every day, play well in the tournaments, it's possible. Aditya Srivastav says, I'm 20, I'm unrated, can I become a GM? As again I told you, if you are ready to work hard, if you get the right direction from a good trainer, it is possible. I wouldn't say that it is impossible, because well, people have done all sorts of things in this world which have been impossible. Becoming a GM when you are 20 and unrated is not I would say the toughest of things. So if you are ready to work hard, go ahead by all means, but believe me, it's all about discipline, it's about working hard, it's about not giving up ever, because many times I've seen when people pass a certain age, they become frustrated after losing. This is something which you should avoid. You shouldn't get frustrated after every loss. You must analyze the reason, and that would help you to really improve. I think there are a lot of players whom you can gain inspiration from, like Tej Kumar, who became India's 50th GM at the age of I think 33 or 34. So definitely it's possible. Omkar Chakradev says, become a coach. Well, that's practical advice from him, but if you don't like coaching, then well, you don't do things which you don't like, yeah, because then you can't do a good job, I mean, in coaching, because it requires a lot of passion. Zucker started at 19 and beat Anderson at 24. Sure. So that's a nice answer by Aditya. So you have the answer to your question. Arun Jha says, I'm IAS in the making, I will do that for sure. See you soon. Okay. So suggest some good books for intermediate. Well, yeah, there are so many good books. Reassess Your Chess, my all-time favorite by Jeremy Silman. I love it, and I would definitely recommend to you as well. Well, from Quality Chess, I said Chess Tactics from Scratch by Martin Vetechnik. I love it, and I think you too will. It's a beautiful book. So I will take your leave. I think there are a lot of questions coming in. Just need to get ready for tomorrow. We're going to do a lot of things. Keep your questions for tomorrow. I'm sure I will address all of them. Aniket, well, he says, how to analyze old classics? Analyzing games is all about inquisitiveness. Put up a position on the board, think about it. What move would you make in that position? Okay, I would play this, but the player has played this move. Why did he do that? That's how you analyze. You need to be inquisitive. You need to ask questions. And Bhakti says, what's your rating? I have not checked in a while, but if I'm not wrong, Bhakta Tiwari, I think it's 24-10 or something like that. Yeah, a lot of questions. I'm very tired, I'm making mistakes here. So Aditya says, how to remember opening lines. Use the opening trainer in ChessBase account. I think it's a good way to remember openings. It's you put your moves in there, and then you test yourself. You play against a computer who makes moves which you have saved, and that's how you remember your lines. So try using that. Just type opening trainer ChessBase on Google, and you will find an article written by me. Anyway, so this Kramnik and Ding Liren have got more time because they have passed 40 moves, so they will be playing for a long time in this position. And Navneet Singh says, sir, I don't understand that chess is progressing at a fast rate in India, then why there is less subscriber of your channel? Yeah, very good question, Navneet. I feel that it's because we started off just 6 months ago at the World Cup, where we seriously started doing work on the channel. So I think in the last 6 months we have been able to garner around 7,500 people, 8,000 around people. So I would recommend that if there are anyone here who has not subscribed, please do so. Our aim is that by the end of this year we should be somewhere around 50,000 mark. I think it's possible with your support. So until then, guys, see you. Thanks for joining in today, and see you tomorrow at 7:30 to see who's going to challenge Magnus Carlsen.